Okay, so let's just get into it, shall we? Okay, I'm just gonna like highlight this part later, I think, and just upload it as the build video. But this is, yeah, this is it. This is the beautiful poison build. I'll go through it real quick. Yeah, let's go to our status. As you can see, here we go. It's level 90. This origin is Vagabond or Vagabond or however you want to pronounce that. I say Vagabond. It is 40 points into vigor. Well, it's actually 35 points into vigor. Should I say 35 points into vigor? It's 29 points into endurance, and it's 35 points into both strength and dexterity. Now, the reason why it's showing 40 in those stats is because of our Radagon Source Steel, if you're not aware. It gives 5 to each of those at the detriment of like lowering our damage reduction. Like all of our damage reduction. It's a lot as well by magic. If you want to go to the detail view and just like change this to something else, like the physical reduction is not so bad. It's like, yeah, it's like 8% mostly for the physical side, but look how much the magic goes up. It's like 12, like basically across the board and shit. So that's why the moon veil is also really punishing right now, but it does still need to be scaled down, because even like I can buff like the wondrous flask of physics, which takes my, doesn't do anything for physical defense at the moment, but it does help significantly versus moon veils because it puts our magic up to 26. But yeah, let's get into the weapons, shall we? Now you got the stats. The weapons have all been chosen around those stats. Now, poison in this game, unlike in the previous version, actually gets really good scaling. For most of the times, for most of the weapons, like sometimes the weapon is basically as good as keen. If poison or even blood as well. So that's great. So that means you can actually invest in like your dexterity or your strength. Well, we invest in both because we use weapons that are good in both stats. So we have the a dual pair of scorpion stingers. Yes, if you want to be dual wielding all of these weapons, you will need to be going New Game Plus unless you can get people to drop them or for you or whatever. Or if you're able to mule some yourself off with some of your own characters. But yeah, it's dual wield scorpion stingers. Ideally plus 10. I just I need to get more stones and make sure I have enough stones to make everything like plus 25. Which I don't know. Warhawk's poison talon. I'm still building these up, but the moveset is actually really good. I kept spinning slash on there. Just because I really like spinning slash for like both building poison and destroying guard, like the L2 into L2 like will guard break a lot of people, and it also just builds up poison as well. You don't get very good critical with these, so it's not really good to guard break and then probably go for a stab, but it's definitely good to guard break and then maybe go for like an L1, and then they're definitely dead because you're poisoned them. You've got all the boost and whatnot. Actually, let's speak about the boost, shall we? A mushroom crown. This thing, you have to go all the way down. Let me show you all the way down. Doing Rani's. Wait, I pressed L1. It's L3 instead of R3. All the way. You have to follow Rani's quest line to be able to access Noxtella. And you go through Noxtella. I didn't actually get the map for here. I've never found the map for Noxtella. I just walked my way through it. It's fairly simple, as you can tell. Like, it's just pretty much a straight line. You get down to the Lake of Rot, and then the mushroom crown is like, it's like down here. It might be actually this building right here. It's like a place you have to jump up to, and then like it'll be like a big square shaped building, and in the bottom there's like basilisks. But yeah, you have to jump up on top of it, and then like on one of the columns, right on top of it, there's like 3 or 4 columns I think. You jump on top of the one column, it's obviously got the item on it, and that is a mushroom crab. And that raises attack power when something nearby suffers from poison or rot. An emphasis on something, by the way, because even if you're poisoned or rotted, you can get the attack buff. So items like I don't know if I have it on me. It's a raw meat dumpling. Yeah, raw meat dumpling restores HP but causes poison buildup. This basically poisons you like one hit, from what I remember. So if you really wanted to, and to be really annoying, you could like go. I don't know if I have enough. Yeah, it just poisons you. And look, you get the buff straight away. And our attack is now 498 across the board. You go to something else like the dual wield serpent blown blades, and it's 657 AR in each hand. And the buff lasts for about like 20 seconds or so. Obviously, if you had something like a blessing, wondrous flask, the poison's pretty much negated by that. So you could use that as part of the setup. Yeah, I just wanted to put the emphasis on something there, because whether your opponent's poisoned, an enemy's poisoned, or you're poisoned, as long as something is poisoned around these 2 items, you're getting an increased attack power. And they stack, by the way. It is like, if we go back to the Serpent Bow Blades, now they're just under 500 AR. Remember they were hitting like 657. So that's like it's about a 35% increase, something like in between there, for these 2 items. The rest, we just went for the malformed dragon armor because I liked how it looked. The Raging Wolf gauntlets because I thought they suited the armor better, the best, just for fashion wise, and they gave a lot of good decent stats and resistances. And the malformed dragon greaves. The reason actually I went for the malformed dragon armor is oh yeah, detail viewing. It's because it's not only got like really good like physical negation and magic negation, but its robustness is really high. I think like the only thing that really beats for robustness is like Lionel's chest piece at 99 or something. So it's really high, and yeah, I had to go over to our get the help up. I don't normally find this, so it's a bit. Robustness is your resistant to blood loss and frostbite, and everyone is using these right now. So using armor which is like high robustness, as high as you can stack it. Like we went for 343. Like focus is your like resistance to sleep and bouts of madness. Sleep is whatever. Not a lot of people are using it. The instances of use like where sleep is used in PvP is like very bad because it's just very easily avoidable with loads of room. It's just very small mist. And this is your resistant to death, which I know people are using the death blight meme a lot, but like other than that, you don't really see lots of death blight in PvP. So getting high vitality and focus wasn't really an issue. I just instead stacked robustness and some immunity myself in case like anyone wants to try and so this build kind of like, you know, can't really, you know, does well against itself in a way. You know, you got high immunity, high robustness, so you can take on bleed people and stuff a lot easier. Talismans, we've got Erdtree's Favor +2 and Radagon Soul Seal, and we went for the Dragon Crest Great Shield, as well as you can see we just went over the 50 poise mark. We're at 54. I'm not really sure how well the poise values are working in this game, but from what I've tested, I've found that using the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman over something like the Great Jar's Arsenal, so I can wear like heavier armor. Like this damage negation is like, it's what's saving me more than having like more poise, because I could wear heavy armor, but my resistances to strike, slash, and pierce are going to top out maybe about 25 or something. They're not going to be like 38 slash resistance, you know. Almost 37 standard physical reduction as well. And take not a lot of damage from like end game stuff, which is great because we're, you know, invading in end game areas. But yeah, let's go back to the weapons. They've got dual wield serpent bones. They have causes poison bleed up. I don't know if it's bugged, but the poison bleed up effect does not increase on this. It doesn't really need to though. 66 on both hands when you're going like this versus people, or like the skill is also really good at like poison bleed up because it hits a lot itself. And also this, like when you start doing L2 into L2, if you can get like that comboed or chained on anyone, like if people like are chasing you down because they're poisoned, like with the buff, like I said, you have like 657 or something AR. That basically is death to like anyone, and I mean like, it's like I've done that to someone, and I had to do it twice because like I kind of stopped, not thinking it was going to do as much damage. It did like 1400 damage to them. Like they were lucky they had so much vigor, because like most people that's gonna kill. Like most people just that kills after the buff. Yeah, serpent bone blades are great because obviously they proc poison, which procs are damage boost, as well as they're just like scaling so greatly in dex and getting such huge AR. Like, I think I by far the best AR weapon that we have, other than of course the rotten great axe and the rotten staff. This, unfortunately, I think this is bugged at +10. When I was like not +10, the weapon art, which is what I got it for, as well as the fact that it builds up Scarlet Rot quite a lot, is Tree Slam. It's like for gank spanking. Unfortunately, +10 though, it does like 60 damage, whereas before it was doing like hundreds to people. Yeah, we went Poison Rotten Great Axe is another great weapon I ever like to use. We've got Braggart's Roar on there. Causes poison build up quite a lot because it's a heavy weapon, so they get a lot of poison build up to compensate. 137, it's like you jumping attack someone, and if they've got like no immunity, you pretty much poison them straight away. Braggart's Roar is declared present for both Roar. I don't know if the Roar itself has any knockback. I've yet to find anyone to walk into it, but it raises attack power, defense, and stamina recovery speed. I don't see any defense increase, at least not in the character status. Like if we go to it, here like our defense is like there, and then we go. It says it looks like it's like it would hit people. Like the defenses don't seem to change. We do get an attack increase, and we do get better stamina recovery speed, which is great with a heavy weapon. So. I mean, those two are at least working. I don't see any increased poise up there either, so there's not really any defensive increases I can see. But we need to get dual wield poison spears. We went for these because like when they get to +25, they have like B dex scaling, which is great because we have 40 dex. Black bow. Went for 2 of these. This is just mostly just because it's got barrage. And with the arrows like Serpent Arrow and Rotbone fletched, because the other Rotbone arrows don't go anywhere. You can like just build up like poison and rot on someone from a distance if they're trying to back away. Yeah, we've got 2 of these. It's not really something to dual wield. You can dual wield it for the fun of it. You know, you do have enough equipment load to of course do that because the axe steals way more. But mostly it's just 2 for the convenience of like, if I had like, you know, that if I had like these on and I wanted to swap to the greatsword, I could just go you know, something like that. It's just a lot easier and quicker in the menu. Same with these, like if I'm like dual wielding these and I want to mix it up and go to mix, so I just go, and vice versa. I'm just trying to get used to the menus, you know, in this game and how they work. I don't mind this menu as bad in the fact that like I just need to get used to how it works, and probably just like position some junk items here and there just for the sake of things. But yeah, I want to get another brass shield as well, just to make equipping a shield easier. But let's go for what I really love to use on this build, which is these serpent poison curved swords. Okay, let me just show it off in some PvE first for you all, because these proc poison like super quickly, and this is new game plus for people that may be wondering. Like this damage buff as well, like it just procs again every time you something else I think receives poison nearby. So like in PvE, you can just like look and just slaughter everything in Halic Tree, and all I need to do is press L1. These particular weapons as well have a really nice effect. As you can see, they're getting I'm getting heals from every kill with this weapon, and I still have the buff. It's been longer than 20 seconds. Like it just keeps reprocking and reprocking and reprocking and reprocking and reprocking. So in PvE, it can just be really, really strong. You can just literally just run through a fucking entire area. This skill doesn't do as much damage, but it's great for breaking posture, like I said, in guards. I'm contemplating putting quick step on there. Just because the L1 does so much more damage. Yeah, that is basically how it works in PvE. With the Mimic as well, wearing the exact same gear as you. Like, I don't know if it gets a talisman boost, but it definitely gets a mushroom crown boost. Like, some bosses, like, just melt. I mean, you don't have to use the Mimic to melt the boss with this build, but it really does when you both got the buff. Like, it's like, you're just doing like a boss you don't really care too much about fighting. Just summon the Mimic and just spank it. You'll just see that it will just start melting as soon as it gets poisoned. Let's do some invasion, shall we? Real quickly.